Hi, everybody. It's Bob Ost. This is Theater Resources Unlimited. It's our Friday community gathering, number 112, 112 consecutive weeks. We started doing these April 17th in 2020. In case you can't make the connection, it was about the time that we went into shutdown. Uh, I had programs to run and I had people to serve as an art service organization that we are, and no way to do it live. So I had to have somebody hold my hand and walk me into Zoom. And well, we've been sitting there and playing there and talking there and teaching there ever since. Everything that we've done for the past 2.5 years has been in Zoom. I do want to say that we are about to have our first live program. We're returning to live on July 25th with a reading of a new play. Um, but here we are in Zoom in the meantime, and I want to keep doing it because we get to talk to people that are all over the country, all over the world. You don't have to be in New York to be part of the community now, and that means a lot. And I think it's great, and I love doing this. We've been talking about. We started off talking about how to create in a pandemic, how to deal with shutdown, how to be an artist and be by yourself, and how to create art in isolation. And we talked about how to use Zoom and virtual performance so that we can keep going forward with our the work that we're developing and writing. Um, and then a couple months ago, we kind of started seeing the end of shutdown. So I celebrated that by getting COVID twice. Um, so the masking stopped, the shutdown stopped. I hardly went out. I'm double vaxxed, double boosted, always wear my mask, and I've gotten COVID twice. So COVID is still with us. It's not as dangerous now, thank God. But everyone, for the sake of people around you, be aware of the fact that COVID's still there. It's still here, and it still loves us. It's not letting us go. Um, so that said, we are going to talk today about, since we've been 2.5 years in virtual presentation, and now we're going into performance, the logical thought process for a lot of us is, what about hybrid? Somebody said to me, we're doing our live show on July 25th. Can we stream it? Well, it's not that easy, but there are ways of creating theater in a hybrid situation. And we have a resource with us today, the Independent Film and Theater Network, which basically does this. It basically is a hybrid network. It is a network of people that are very much aware of live theater and very much in love with live performance, but who have created a network that allows you to stream your work. I'm going to introduce you now to some of the people that are provide a lot of resources. It's not just a streaming network; it's also a developmental environment. So I think it's kind of perfect for a lot of the people that join us every week. Um, Let me bring them into the room. We have two people here on camera, and we also have a third who's off camera. So Jay Cruz, who is the CEO and the founder of Independent Film and Theater Network, is here with us. He's also the creative director of development and a script doctor as well.
That's
And
Nate. Nate's
Nate, I'm sorry, I skipped to the next line. So Nate
yeah.
Raven, who is the creative director of development and the resident script doctor. My eye just moved to the second line. Sorry about that, everyone. And Melanie, is it Magri or Magri? Magri?
Magri.
Magri. Okay. So Melanie Magri, who is here by voice only, but she's the managing director. So among the three of them, I think they can give you a pretty good view of what IFT offers everybody. I guess the two areas that I'm thinking about right now are work that's already been created and having an outlet for them and a way of actually getting your work out there in virtual land and film land, really. And the other is basically what you do to help develop new works. Jay, tell us how you came to start this. And it's just a couple years old. Is that right? Or I'm trying to
That's
remember.
right. We launched the app on May 4 of 2021, but the writing room for us started about 2, 3 months before that. So January, February of 2021, we started with the writing room on Zoom every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
So, what was your initial reason for starting this? And let's start with how you created it. And actually, I didn't even think of asking this. Was this a pandemic pivot? Was this something where you knew we were in a pandemic and shut down and you thought, I want to do something. I want to make something happen.
Absolutely. So, my name is Jay Cruz. I am a theater producer. I am an CEO and founder of IFT Network. I have a passion for creating experiences. I'm not a director, I'm not an actor. I am a producer. I love the front of house. I love to make people feel good, to go into a theater and give that energy to my cast and perform a magical experience that evening or that afternoon. IFT Network is definitely a pivot for from COVID. Prior to COVID, I had a marketing agency, home business called Shaved Head Media. Yeah, I don't have some of the hair challenges that I heard from some of the group earlier. But we started Shaved Head Media in 2012. I come from newspapers. I worked for AM New York, which many of you know, see in the train stations in the morning. And before that, I worked for the Village Voice. So I come from free publications and understand advertising and marketing. But that's really what I am. I'm a marketing professional and a graphic designer. I communicate very well visually through my graphic design. And the pandemic basically shut us down. We were working with small businesses. Through the small businesses, I met, and through the newspaper, I met my very close friend, Tony White. Tony White is the actor and the producer, and Tony White would produce shows in small black box theaters off Broadway, off Broadway. And Tony and I teamed up, and I started doing marketing materials and postcards. And I know you all know the playbill. We have our own called the Curtain Call, and so we have theater programs and things that we would do with Tony. And Tony and I would often argue, you can't make money in theater. And I would say, yes, you can. And Tony would say, you can't. It's impossible. I'm like, yes, you can. With enough lead time and good marketing, you can. And in 2019, we did a show at Teatro Circulo in the East Village. We did a showcase. It had 44 acting roles, 16 different titles, shorts, features, the bit. It was fantastic. We finally made some money in theater. Then, unfortunately, Tony White passed away January 2020. And shortly after that, we had the pandemic where everyone was just locked in, and locked in, you couldn't do anything. And so part of this is IFT is indie film theater, but it's for Tony. Tony would give hundreds, if not thousands of people over the last 25 years or so their first role in an off-Broadway show. And he was a huge part of the off-Broadway community, as far as, especially in my community. But from the success from that December show, we had planned a July show, and then COVID shut that down. And so I started to explore what Disney Plus was doing and how they had this legacy and they had like everyone's childhood on their one platform. And I said, there's content out there sitting on hard drives or sitting on YouTube and no one's watching it. Quality content. What if we made one home for all these titles? And then that led us to, well, these people who create these wonderful titles, these wonderful experiences, they don't just write one script, they write many scripts. And we'd like to help them develop those scripts. And enter Nate Raven out in LA, who was connected through some of the filmmakers in our network. And
Nate was the next piece of the puzzle that you found for this.
Nate was a huge piece of the puzzle because after meeting Nate and trying out the writing room a few times with some film and theater, Nate was like, hey, I can do this. We can do this, full time and commit to it. And Melanie, who I've known for several years, who's kind of like my right hand when it comes to theatrical productions, was like, yes, I want to get in this. Let's do it. And I only host it. They manage and direct the room. And we've so far done over 60 scripts. Every week is a new script. One night we might just do a scene. And before I keep taking too much of the fire away from the writing room, because I'm going to let Nate handle that, I want to talk about the streamer, if that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you're suggesting that Nate will probably Nate and Melanie. Let's meet Melanie since she's the offstage voice.
Got it.
Melanie, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be part of IFT Network.
Absolutely. So I am the managing director of development for IFT. Jay and I met through working on shows in New York City. I have worked on every aspect of putting on a show, from playing in a pit orchestra to stage and production management, marketing. I was lucky enough to work on the marketing for Once on This Island on Broadway, front of house, all of that good stuff. And
Was it was
during the
that the was that the
pandemic,
revive was that the revival or you
yes,
mean the
the
revival?
revival.
The Ken Davenport.
Yeah. Yes. um, and I actually, during the pandemic, learned how to tech direct via StreamYard. So I did numerous shows um, with incredible actors via StreamYard, and we would raise money for the Actors Fund and different groups. So that was really exciting to be able to do something during the pandemic. And I'm also a writer, so I'm working on my first musical, and I focus a lot of my work on experiences of those with chronic illnesses, such as myself.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
me.
I got one of those. um, so let me ask you, Melanie, because this in itself is an interesting thing for a lot of people. How did you adapt your skills to virtual? Because you said that you began learning how to do virtual through StreamYard, right?
Yes. So I was invited through someone I used to work with to join her play reading group virtually. And at first I was actually reading just reading some lines here or there, reading stage directions during the shows. And then they asked me to join as a tech director and learn StreamYard and learn how to put everything together. So I was, making, videos to transition into different scenes, bringing actors in and out during the whole show. So it's actually a really cool program to use for virtual. I have used Zoom as well, but StreamYard is definitely been really cool to use
Well,
as a virtual
I hear
option.
StreamYard is a little easier for music, although nothing is really very easy for music. It's all difficult. But
Yeah,
the
that
other thing about StreamYard that stops some people is I think it's limited in the number of frames you can have on the screen, as opposed to Zoom. Zoom you can have unlimited numbers of frames people on screen.
yes,
StreamYard.
that's correct.
The other thing about StreamYard I want to ask you: were you doing a combination of live and filmed uh, content for StreamYard, or were they mostly live presentations, or they mostly filmed presentations?
Most of them were live via YouTube, so we would connect through YouTube. As time went on and equity and everyone kind of started questioning, who takes care of what, who handles what now that everything is virtual, things got a little more complicated. I think we worked on one show that was filmed, but most of them were live.
Okay, but you talked about some interstitial transitions that you were also using, so that must have been filmed pieces, right?
So they were videos that I would put together with sounds or music and pictures, and I would kind of do like a video editing um, thing prior to the show, and then I would like put it into the system.
Okay. Um, let's move to Nate. Nate, tell us a little bit about your background and tell us how Jay lured you into his lair.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Nate Raven. It's funny. You mentioned this hybrid thing. It's like as artists, I feel like we're all hybrids because we all wear so many hats, and I think that's a great thing. I think the industry is definitely moving in that direction with all this blend of stage and screen and behind the scenes on stage or on the scene. The same is true for me. I lived in New York for 15 years and I was a musical theater actor. And I got really tired of putting power behind the table and decided, I'm going to take my power back, take control, and I'm going to start writing my own stuff. And so I did. And that's how my writing began. And I wrote an off-Broadway play that was in 2019, the fall of 2019. It was an immersive experience. I have a TV series being shopped around, a film being shopped around. I've award-winning short films out there. Like, so it just kept rolling for me, which has been great. And one of those films it is actually on IFT Network called Perfect, and that's how I got to know Jay. And he wanted to have a one-on-one Zoom call about the film, and we were going to do a podcast about like talking about the process of writing it and acting in it and just the whole rigmarole. And so I told him, it's like, I've been doing a lot of writing in the pandemic because that's really all I could do, is just write my own stuff. And when I moved out to LA in 2020, I moved out here right when everything shut down. So that was fun. But it was great.
I moved into a new apartment on March 25th, 2020.
Oh yeah, it was actually really good for me. Because I was able to like, reset, like really focus on what I needed to do and figure out my path. And so I started joining Facebook groups of writing rooms, and I would just attend their rooms, and we would read scripts aloud and give feedback. And so I started doing that. I was telling them about it, and that's where that sort of came about with our writing room, with IFT's writing room, is bringing featured writers in, reading their script aloud, and giving feedback. And it's just
so I want to hold back on the writers' room for a second, because I want to still clarify a lot of things about the platform and what the platform offers people. You have true member and PDMP graduate Jessica Scher right behind you. So let it be said that the way that Jessica had distributed her Betty Davis Ain't for Sissies show was through you. So tell people who have a product, they have a video of a show that they've done. How do they get it to you, and what works on your station and what doesn't, and what do you look for? Who is your audience? Who tunes in? Actually, do people actually? Yeah, people tune into IFT, right?
Well, right now it's an app or a website. It's only on demand, but on Labor Day, or just a weekend before Labor Day, we'll be launching a free preview web page. But there is an app on the iOS and Android stores where you can download and watch movies like you would on pretty much any other app. So I think I downloaded it on my computer, on my desktop.
That's
great. Yeah,
I have access to content.
So there's a couple of things. It's a different conversation to talk about something in theory versus talking about something that actually exists. So we needed to create a proof of concept of the app in order, and of course, get films and shows in order to show investors that this is a viable product. We are an official startup. We just graduated the newchip.com accelerator program. We are actively talking with investors.
I'm listening to him and I'm sleeping at the same time.
Oh, Gloria.
I'm sick.
Gloria.
Oh.
So there's the app, and there's the next app, and that's where we're trying to get investment for. The next app is going to be a little bit more exchange of information, where you're able to vote and nominate some of the films, some of the actors. We want to create an award show, an annual award show to celebrate the community. But after a year now, just about 13 months that we've been out, we have over 200 titles, and it's a revenue share platform. So the way it works,
I was hoping you would get to that.
Yeah, so the way it works is, for a subscriber, it's free for 30 days.
6 p.m.
Thank you. It's free for 30 days, and then it's $5.99 a month, $5.99. From the $5.99, $2.50 is put to the producer's pool. The producer's pool is then shared with every single title on the platform. Now, the way that is produced is the total runtime, or the total library of all the titles, creates a runtime. That runtime is the library. It's the big number. Each individual title has its own individual runtime, and when you do the math, it creates a percentage, and that is the percentage that title accrues each month. So each month, by default, every title on the platform is sharing a percentage of each successful payment of $5.99. So that's essentially a new science that we kind of tested it out for a year. Now, as we add more content, the percentages do go down. But as with the evil genius, if you will, is that as we grow the subscribership, the money that each title accrues or earns each month either stays the same or goes up. So we can continue to moderately add content as we slowly add subscribers, because again, no one knows who we are. We have a very small subscribership, but we're learning a lot about our community. We're learning that we support each other through these networks, through IFT. A lot of folks understand that $5.99 is supporting a community. So it's almost, it becomes a contribution.
For people who have product and they're looking for a platform for it, this is not going to make them $1 million, but
not today, not in the next year or so. No.
But what it offers them is an opportunity to have a platform for their work, so that they can direct people. I guess I could. Why? Sell me on this. Why would I want to run my show on your network rather than have a YouTube?
I love it. So one of the hardest things for an artist to do is become an entrepreneur and a marketing genius basically overnight. IFT Network is an innovative online platform and a content development platform. And we know that one of the things that we all want is to be seen and heard. Every title that comes on our platform, we create a marketing campaign for. And so now we're telling our community about you and your title. And we do this consistently throughout the year. There is a license agreement. We do not own the title. It's all yours. All the agreement says is that we have permission to stream it and permission to do the marketing for it. And then we create other elements like events and gatherings where we can all get together, and we do it live in person now or on Zoom. And we do all this networking. And since we've been doing it for a year now, 4 independent films have gone on to shoot this year with folks that met over this year through IFT Network. And that we can all understand that.
Which comes down to one of the other major points of view. You're like us. You basically see yourself as a community. So Absolutely. what you're doing is you're not only growing product, but you're growing a community. And if the community eventually grows big enough, then the word will spread, and then more people will be subscribing, and eventually you'll be able to make it more than $5.99. But I know that for now you want to keep it modest and very affordable.
Well, there are some questions that in the chat I can get to right away. So there is no cost for the producer who wants to add a title on the platform. All I ask is that we meet one-on-one on Zoom. And so I can just learn about what's happening with this individual, because if we can support that individual producer with not just this current title, but with some of the other activity like if we love theater, our audience is theater, our audience is film. If you have other productions, tell us about it. We'll put it in the email blast, we'll put it on social media to kind of support there. And the exclusivity is that it not be anywhere else like YouTube. If it's somewhere else behind a paywall or a subscription wall, even if it's free, that's okay. But to have it on YouTube, no one's gonna drive to IFT Network to download an app to watch your stuff. The value is that they get to watch your title and all these other titles in the space. And we've even got to the point where we talk to our producers to try to educate them and say, please, if you can't afford it, get a subscription. Why? Because it supports the community, but more importantly, it allows you to see other people's stuff. And what magic would it be if you see someone else's title and you like it? Now, when you're talking to your network about, hey, my content's on IFT Network. Oh, but I saw this other thing too, and that's pretty awesome. Now that changes the behavior, changes the reaction. People tend to engage IFT Network more. And the more engagement we have, the more everyone wins. This is built specifically for that.
Okay, I want to ask the room before we move to the writers' room, which is a whole other program that you guys offer. Are there any other questions or comments or things that you want to know about the streaming platform, about IFT Network as a place to stream your work? You can either raise your hand virtually, you can put some question in there, or you can just turn on your mic and talk. I don't care. It's just let us know that you have something that you want to know.
And Bob, thank you for this opportunity. My team and I are super grateful. We've been trying to make sure that this thing all worked and it stood up on its own. It's been a year now. In May, we made a year, so we know it works. Now, to have this opportunity to talk, to extend the community, the network is fantastic. So we're very grateful. Thank you.
Well, I definitely support.
I have a quick question. Yeah, quick question for Jay. What is your streaming technology? What technology uses it? All Zoom, or what do you use behind that, and so on?
So there's a whole app and developers and things that handle that for us. It's not Zoom. This is films that you would see in film festivals and in theaters that are on our streaming. So we are the indie Netflix. That is a great nickname for us. We are the indie Netflix. But what we're really trying to be, and I'll be very candid today, is Major League Baseball has a minor league system. When they invested in that minor league system, their major league product got better. The NBA followed suit with the G League. And essentially what we want to do is we want to try to be one of the most organized minor league entities for Hollywood, for Netflix, for off-Broadway theater, because theater, Broadway, they had their biggest numbers in 2019 as far as audience and revenue. And so did film. Then the pandemic happened. And now streaming was kind of forced upon everyone because you had nothing else to do. But what we learned is that we can also support each other and build each other up financially through a streamer like this. Most other streamers are just giving it away. They shouldn't do that. And then there's a global audience here that loves our stuff. Let's show it to them. And that's essentially our goal. Our goal is to get the movie fan, the theater fan, to subscribe with us and watch new titles and maybe not so new titles, but they're entertaining experiences.
So I want to jump in and clarify something, but I think I'm going to get this right. If not, you're going to correct me. And by the way, Melanie, anytime you want to say anything, just turn on your mic. I'll know that you're there, and I'll just ask you. Okay? So feel free to join us.
Thank you.
Okay. We talked earlier. You jumped over a pretty big topic, which is whose contract do we use? Is this theater or is this film? We're talking about this as being hybrid because we're basically talking about theater product that is going to be streamed as film.
Oh, that's right. Of course. Of course.
So what my understanding of it is, and there's a lot of different understandings of this. My understanding is if it's something that started as a theater project and it started in a live performance, you're working with equity contracts. And equity is holding on to that part of it. If it's a theater piece that you're developing for streaming and it hasn't necessarily been done live, then you're working with SAG. By the way, I've asked Steve Make, I don't know how you pronounce his last name, from SAG, to be a guest for us in August. I'll let you know if he's coming on board or not.
I'd love to meet them. Yeah,
he's going to talk about the SAG contracts if I can get him to come. That's only what people need to know when they're making the film or the product, whether they're using equity or SAG agreements. And for the most part, if you're creating it for IFT, then you would just say that it's a SAG agreement. If you're creating it for IFT with the thought that enough people are going to see your product so that you're going to be able to do it live and get an audience, then you're going to have to really have a conversation with equity, because equity does start wanting to be involved at that point.
Yeah, we are big supporters of Actors Equity. I just did a program for a show opening next week that, we put a nice big representation for Actors Equity. It's an Actors Equity approved showcase. But it's 2022. And to be frank, I think Actors Equity needs to review some of their rules and regulations and really just show some flexibility and, move up towards the times, because let's face it, these actors, the talent, they can perform in both spaces, in any space. And so it should not, just like IFT would never want to be a detriment to anyone, to, actor, producer, what have you, no source that's supposed to help us should be a deterrent. And so with the technology that we have today, there's some big questions we should be reviewing.
Anno, did you have a question to ask, or is it the one that's in the chat?
Yes. Okay. Hey, John, my name is Anno. I'm very happy to hear about you. I really appreciate what you share. So I have several questions for you. The first question is, are you are you building your company, the core, the IF, this one, it's your companies, or you're just a cooperator with some organization, you're working with that?
But I own it.
What's that?
I own it. I'm the CEO.
Okay.
I'm the CEO and founder.
Okay, so now your mission is to support all of the director or screen player, or can you talking about more that what are you trying to help the actor? Yeah, please.
We want to support the producers of the titles. Those producers are not just producers. Those producers are actors, they're screenwriters, they're playwrights,
Right.
they're directors, they're across the spectrum, just like all the folks in this room. I mean, we don't write one script, right? We write several, and then some of them that are a bit stronger than others get a little bit extra love, and some of them even make it to production, which is the dream. And those that make it into production, whether it be on stage or film, if we can record them so we have them as a record, great. But what we want to do is we want to work with producers and say, can we record this for the platform? There's a lot of challenges. Of course, we mentioned actors equity, so we get in early in the production with some of these, but it's still too soon and too expensive to do full feature, full length. We really want to focus on shorts.
Okay, so now are you looking for some project or film or script, or how can I cooperate with you? Do you have some things in your minds, or you're planned, or can you? Yeah.
I have in the chat, and I'll put it again. There's a web page, iftnetwork.com/join. And the join page has a calendar. You can schedule a one-on-one meeting where we can talk about it.
Okay.
If you do have content, what we do is we screen the content. We're not movie critics. So if it sounds good and it looks good, it's probably going to make the platform. And what we want to do is we want to meet the producer. And as I mentioned, we want to learn about you. So if someone else in our network is doing something and you guys can collaborate, then I'm introducing you guys.
Okay, so I see your IFTnetwork.com, the join. What does it mean? Why you put the join? I don't understand what's this.
That's the page that has information about several of the questions that you're asking.
Okay, I hear. Thank you so much. I'm done.
And now Lisa Snyderman asked, is there any live stream element in your network, or is it all on demand? And Nate, tell us what you responded.
Oh yeah, I just saw the question while you two were talking. But it basically, she's asking if there's a live stream element, or is it all on demand? And right now the app is all on demand, / previously filmed pieces, including film or theater.
It would be very complicated to try to do any live content, because that means you have to reserve the platform for a specific time when you're presenting your piece. And it doesn't really work that way. I don't know. Do you see that ever happening, Nate or Jay?
I mean, it can happen, but as you were saying before, you have to deal with the unions. You have to make sure that the connection is good. Like there's so many elements that go into a live stream, and there's so much that could potentially go wrong that it is a bit risky. It's not impossible. It takes a lot more work, a lot more rehearsal, a lot more trial and error to do that.
It would also, there's a different kind of platform for what you're talking about, which is
right.
on the stage.com, for instance, would be someplace where you could have all content that's filmed, or a combination of live and filmed, or all live. But they're set up not as a streaming network. They're set up as a presentation platform for your work. I think, and that's not what you got, but you guys could eventually evolve to that. There's no saying that you couldn't.
For best results, we've learned that you can present the show and record it, and then once it's recorded, you can edit it really well and then present it as live later on at any date you want. And that, to me, is probably the best practice.
Oh, that's true. You could take the product and basically go on the stage.com and
shoot live. Record
and then have some live, because we always do our True Speak benefit. I always want live content on that benefit. I always introduce everything as the executive director live, and then we have live pitches here and there. But most of the content we use right now is filmed. We've found that there's too many unknown factors involved.
The variables.
The variables, the things that can go wrong when you're doing live are just innumerable. You could count them for days.
That's why I like the strategy of going and planning a live recording, and then you just take that footage and you edit it really well, and then now you have one final piece that you can shoot it. I mean, blast it live wherever you want, and you have more control of what's being played.
Let's see.
Yeah, we don't do the live stream, not yet at least. We are
Okay, so
looking.
Mike is saying that he can't open in Safari, so you'll deal with him on a private basis on that. Don wants to know who is the audience. To the best of your knowledge, do you know who your subscribers are?
Yeah, the audience, the subscribers are you guys, the people in the community, the filmmakers, the independent filmmakers and theater producers that have engaged us, that had the courage to come out and reach out and connect, and once they see what we're doing and how it's being done, it's pretty exciting.
So this last question from Eric Rothman, and then I want us to focus on your writer's room and your development, the support that you offer in development of new work. Oh, Donald's still saying, who are the viewers? All right.
I mean, I don't understand the question. The viewers are whoever has a subscription, and the people with subscriptions are independent filmmakers and theater producers. And
well, you were assuming that, but you actually may have people that are just audience members who find their way to IFT. And I guess you don't have a back end way of knowing who your viewers are. So you may at some point want to do that. You may want to do a survey of viewers and find out more about them. So that,
some of the
you can tell Don.
Well, the investment that we're looking for is supposed to be able to get us to those points when we have an app that can do all of that. Yeah.
So the next question is kind of a transition question. It's Sherry says, who does the editing? And the actual answer to that is, if you're bringing a completed product to you, then you've done the editing. But if you're working with them in their developmental process, they offer you a lot of different services. And so let's turn right to that. Nice segue, Sherry. Thank you.
Yeah. So we offer several services. It starts with our Safe Development Safe, the writing room. We meet Tuesdays, 7 p.m. on Zoom. We also offer script doctor services. We offer writers for hire in any genre. We offer pitch deck design services and other marketing services like movie posters, Bibles, director books, lookbooks. We also offer actor and director reels, editing services, and production consultations when needed. Some folks don't realize the importance of a budget and preparing that spreadsheet. Just gives you just eyeballs, and people don't. I know so many producers that just jump in head first to just start shooting, and working with some producers in these different categories with pitch decks. Some of our pitch decks have gone to Amazon, have gone to Paramount. So yeah, that's what gets you in the door, some of these tools that we provide. And the writing room is the key. The writing room. Go ahead. Sorry, Bob.
I just want to basically say that also, if you're used to producing in theater, you have to really think in a different way when you're producing for film. You have to think in terms of shots. You have to think in terms of frame placement. You have to think in terms of lighting, and these things have to be part of your plan before you do anything. So yeah, it's first the budget, and then you need a director who knows how to do film.
That's right.
Murray said, did I miss something? Because I thought you said you cannot do live stream. Not on their platform, Murray. No.
You mean like Netflix, like like watching film streaming, not live.
No. Someone just said, you said earlier you cannot do live streaming.
You can't do live content. You can't do live content.
So in other words, when the show is going on, you can't stream that.
No, there's no live show. This is a movie app, so I'll open it right now. It's just like Netflix. If you watch Netflix,
okay.
It's just a Netflix, but instead of having Netflix titles, it has independent titles. There's a Jessica Share piece.
Okay, so you can take when you talk about streaming, then you're talking about streaming the movie.
The films, right?
The film,
right? Okay. If you do a production in theater and you're equity free, for example, and you wanted to put it on the platform, like Jessica's piece that's streaming right now, that's something that you'd be able to bring on the platform, for example.
Okay, so you video the actual live performance. It becomes a movie. From the movie, you make another. You then take another. So you video that, and that's what goes up.
So Murray,
so it's one step.
we're
Yeah,
saying that because of the way their platform is set up, and it needs to be for now, they're not a platform that can do a combination of live content and film
At the same
content.
time.
No,
Gotcha.
you can't do it. It has to be all filmed. Has to be a complete piece that's filmed. Just
Mhm.
like you don't have conversations with the actors in Netflix films when you're watching a Netflix film. There's no live content.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
let's talk about the writers' room. Nate,
Yeah.
how cruel are you to people?
I'm very cruel. I'm very
Okay.
mean. I'm very mean.
You have that whip.
Uh,
You hold the whip, right?
Oh yeah. No, that's what I love about script doctoring and working with people on their pieces is I never want to change their story ever. Even if I don't like the subject matter, I never want to change it. It's their voice, it's their story. All I want to do is elevate it. I want to take it to the next level. And I've been doing it for over 2 years now, even more. And I'm also, if anyone knows, Awesome Film Festival is one of the biggest script competitions in the nation. I'm a script reader for it, so I'm one of their judges. So I'm reading a lot, and a lot of stage plays actually. So if you have a stage play, you can submit it to that and get like that prestige if you want. But for the writing room, what we do, like I said, every Tuesday we come in, I bring a writer in, we schedule you ahead of time. You are free to bring your own readers, your own actors, if you have people in mind for certain roles. Otherwise, I find readers for you and we come into the room, we read it aloud. The writer can request what type of feedback that they'd like to receive, depending on where they want to take the work for their next steps. Then we do an open forum discussion about the piece. And then there's a small group of us called the Nucleus that does written feedback that you get sent a few days later. And so you're getting double the feedback, which is really great. And I don't know any other place that does that.
So
to be
you
honest.
basically are doing this one project at a time. Do you have like a one Tuesday every couple months where you can get a group of people together and they can talk about, everybody talks about their work, or is
Yeah,
it just one piece at a time?
Yeah, no, we've actually done that. So what's great about it is that we don't limit the room to any specific genre or medium. We've done short films, short plays, feature films, TV pilots, stage
scene.
plays, a scene. We've done a scene from something where the writers go, I don't know, really want to take this, and we would just talk about, well, here's some ideas. We've done 3, I think, night of shorts where we do 4 or 5 short films or short plays based around a theme, and we read those and just have fun with that. And it's really nice, and I think a lot of writers have gotten a lot of good things from it, and it made them think a bit more about their piece and how they want to change it and take it to the next level.
I'm sorry, I just want to clarify something. So usually what you're doing every Tuesday night is one person comes in with one project, or
Yes.
So, but you do sometimes do group nights where people come in with different projects, and they show each other their projects and they talk about each other's work.
Well, we did last 2 Tuesdays ago. We did a Pride of shorts. So we did 5 scripts, all shorts, all in the theme. So we did Valentine's Day in February. We did like love shorts, and then we did LGBTQ 2 Tuesdays ago. And so we'll select certain Tuesdays where we're not just doing one full script. It's more of just let's get together, let's hear a group of people's works. We don't really do a talk back as much as just experience the works, some of them for the first time.
So, but what you originally were talking about is really a one-on-one session on a Tuesday night. Is there a cost for that?
That's the best part. It's all free. There is no cost for it. And we kind of want to keep it that way. we want to have a safe space, as Jay was saying. We want to have a safe space for people to come and share their work with us, and we don't. Oh yeah, Gary just asked that. Yeah.
Well, that's incredibly generous. So, you might be seeing me some Tuesday night.
But look, yeah, please. Anyone is welcome. I'm a writer myself, so I'm submitting to festivals and I'm submitting to Blacklist and all these like competitions and all these feedback sources, and the cost can really rack up, and because they're not cheap, and they're $75 is probably the minimum. Maybe 65, and once you're doing a lot of those, it really adds up. So for our space, we really want to have that safe space for people to come in and go like, I need other eyes on this. And I cannot stress enough, and I tell people this all the time, and a lot of writers agree with me, some don't, and I'm trying to convince the entire world that you have to hear your piece aloud. It is so important. And there are still people that don't think that way, and it's one thing to have it in your head. And,
really?
Yeah, trust me. It's even with my own stuff, like, because it lives in my head. But if I hear it aloud, it changes the entire like vibe of the piece. And when you have actors bringing these words to life, so you really get to know what works and what doesn't. And I really encourage people to do that. So I want our space to be that for you.
Okay, I think Anno has another question. An?
Yes. Hi, Nate. Hi. Very nice to meet you. Thank you so much for all of the information. I have a lot of questions. I'm trying to squeeze everything together. So the first question is, you're working for the jail, so you are in the same company, right? You're not.
No, this is all for IFT Network.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is about the writing. So all of the writers go to your room, so they share all of the information. So you are trying to build a safe environment, so there have anything happens after she share everything. How can you make the safe environment, or they submitted a script, or they just shared idea?
And
Yeah.
I think the question goes back to you. What do you mean? What do you mean by a safe environment? It sounds like are you being protective of your work and you don't want other people to hear it?
No, I want to share, but sometimes I really don't know who is sitting in that room. I don't know.
It's a leap of faith.
Yeah,
It's a leap of faith.
definitely.
You have to decide that for yourself. If
Yeah,
you're not comfortable
have to
sharing
write
in a room
yourself.
full of people with people that you don't know, then don't do it. But this is what they offer.
Yeah, as far as legalities go with the script, that's up to the writer to register with WGA or copyright it. We don't want to get involved with that unless we've signed contracts with you. But as far as just coming into the room and trusting people, that's just I think that's just the nature of our business in general. You can write a script, but if it just sits there and no one reads it, then it doesn't really go anywhere. So you have to trust someone to get it out there, and you send it out to as many people as you can, because you hopefully you're proud of your work and you want people to hear it.
Okay.
So just so you know, there were lots and lots of writers groups that meet online. I've been to 3 of them in the past month.
Sure.
Anywhere from 20 to 40 people presenting their work to each other in a
Right.
room, and you just do it on faith. Are there situations where somewhere down the line somebody's going to say, "Oh, I did my reading in that for these people, and now somebody's doing a show that's about the same thing that I wrote"? That's a personal thing. I have a friend who thinks that Stephen Sondheim stole everything he ever wrote from my friend.
Yep.
If you're a litigious person, and if you're ready to sue somebody because you think that they've stolen your work, don't go. Don't go to any of these places. Stay home and have your plays read by people that you know.
I would also just like to add that we do film every night. This is mainly for the writer themselves, so they can actually watch the whole reading as many times as they would like. So we do record them and I guess in a way that can make some of the writers feel a little more trusting, because everyone who was in the room that night, because we record the entire night.
And
The only time we don't,
provide it to the writer, yeah.
yeah, the only time we don't record is during like a night of shorts. We haven't done that yet, but every reading we record.
Okay, so everyone that go to your writing the space, all the same people, or every time the change.
We do have a.
The only one. Go ahead, Nate. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We do have a core group of people, regulars, if you will, that come every week. And like I mentioned before, with the nucleus, the group that does written feedback for your piece, they come every week as well. So you start to build a little community with our writing room.
Okay, so you have a core there. Okay,
Yes.
I understand. And another question is about this, you only working for the short films or short the theater play, or is that you can think about the feature long, or is the big project production?
It's not, no, they don't limit it. There's no limitation. They'll
Okay,
do
okay,
any product, full length, short piece, whatever.
okay. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Donald asks, or I guess I have to get used to calling him Don. Don asks, have any of the plays read in the writer's room moved onto the network filming? Jay, you're on mute.
Thank you. Not yet. That's one of the reasons why. So we just graduated from an accelerator program, newchip.com. We're currently raising $500,000. Part of that is to get the new app and to produce a few new titles. We definitely must have more theater titles on our platform. Right now, our library in the theater section is a little light, and we'd like to encourage folks to start the development process. Let us learn about the show, especially shorts, because shorts are much more flexible to produce, and we want to, absolutely encourage folks with stage plays to reach out.
Have you thought about benefits that you would offer people that have developed a play in your writer's room, something that they would get that maybe an outsider who comes to you with a filmed piece might not get? I mean, just in terms of giving a benefit to somebody. Anything?
Well, besides the value that we're already giving them, but not giving them a fee, because that's pretty awesome.
So there is no fee for people to submit.
Not the first ride. If you come back on the second ride, I would hope, we haven't done that yet, but we would hope to talk to that producer about paying something on the second ride. But the first one,
and that's also just to bring up what happens after, and I've done a few of these, is because I'm a script doctor as well, and there's someone in the nucleus, and I will answer that question about the nucleus in this, Sherry, that he works with a big entertainment lawyer and script doctors things as well as for us. So if the writer is interested, we do offer it. When we give our written feedback, we say, hey, if you're interested in these services, please contact us. And then what we like to do is work one-on-one, give detailed notes, much more detailed than what happens in the writer's room, really, really like dig into that script. And then I schedule a one-on-one call, and after I've sent you the notes, and we talk about it. And if it all makes sense to you, so that you can go forth and rewrite. Now, these members of the nucleus, I keep them anonymous intentionally, because I don't want, it's just like any service you submit scripts to, like Blacklist and everything, it's all anonymous to protect the individual. But I can promise you that we definitely have picked people that have extensive knowledge and experience writing and working in many areas from theater, film, television, and all range of things.
Okay, so basically, I don't have any other questions, but I want to make sure that the room is satisfied. Do you understand everything? Do you know what you need to know in order to?
I love questions.
Yeah, anyone want to jump in? And also keep an eye on the chat, because some questions are being answered and asked in the chat.
This is Lise. I just had a quick question. I'm getting a sense that this is primarily on the streaming side and possibly the development side for more for producers. What about artists? Is there like the development of the artist intentions to do these films, et cetera, or is it, primarily for producers who have multiple works that, that you want to add to the platform? Thanks.
It's excellent question. So there's no preference. As we all know, many performers and folks in the performing space also write. Right now, we're focused on the development of content, but we also have readers that come and perform these pieces for us. So we have certain people in the room that come each week just to perform. It's a good place to, as they say, stay loose and network and just experience new writings each week. So we do have a focus on our development for people as a whole, not so much just the producers. Most of the producers, quote unquote, I would say, first of all, women strong. We're over 60% women, so most of the producers on our platform are women. And there's a huge number of them who also are producers, but are also performers in some way, shape, or form. So and also with music too, which is pretty amazing. So these are folks that are very outgoing, as most of you know, as most of you are. You have an opportunity. It looks good. It sounds good. You're going to go for it.
So I want to just give Lisa a little bit of an answer as well. Theater Resources Unlimited is dedicated to helping people understand the business of theater, and we encourage artists to self-produce. Everybody wants a producer, and everybody's hoping that somebody's going to discover them and produce their work. While you're waiting for that to happen, you can make things happen yourself. So Lisa, you could either try to find a producer to bring this on board to ITF or wherever you want to do your work, or you can learn how to produce and take responsibility for it and do it yourself. So I don't make a big line drawn between producers and artists. I think that artists can produce, and producers often know the art pretty well. In fact, a lot of producers are also playwrights. Ken Davenport is primarily, I think the first thing he identifies with is writing. Secondly is producer, but most of us know him as a producer. So that's just a plug for taking initiative and producing yourself.
Yeah, thank you for that, Bob. I appreciate it.
Okay. Michelle Rissy.
Hi. I was just wondering, I have a question about the writer's room. It's entirely free, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And if you want more extensive feedback, like dramaturgical feedback, you can get that for a price.
If you want, so what we do in the writing room with the feedback is we ask, if you have a script, we will ask you ahead of time what type of feedback you'd like to receive. And then we let everyone in the room know this is what to focus on in the type of feedback. Okay. That's just the verbal part. When it comes to the written part, we go a little bit more in depth, not full script doctor, but we go a little bit more in depth of just hitting little story beats and marks and punches and little things that just need to be worked on. But as far as like an in-depth thing, that's something that is, and so Sherry asked earlier and I answered in the chat, the script doctoring services are a paid service, and it's based it's completely negotiable because it's based on the length of a script. Obviously, a 120-page play is going to take much longer to do than a 15-page one.
So somebody who works really close with you as a dramaturg is putting in a huge amount of work. It's an enormous amount of work. Including myself, all dramaturgs do charge something to sit and read your script and think through the structural
I've
needs of
heard
it.
the average rate is like $500. So I
don't charge that much, but yeah, it is average.
Yeah, and also
I also don't do it that often because I don't have time.
Your ultimate dream for us to be part of your streaming platform, is that ultimately what you'd like to have happen?
I would say that's a fair fair assessment?
I mean, of course, whether it be to enjoy the content from some of the other producers or to join us in the writing room and maybe take a role in one of the scripts in 1 week. I mean, we always, to me, talk is trash. I like the actions of people, and the actions of people really tell us all we need to know. And so
Okay.
we've created a space for people to come and engage whenever they want to. And it's not a mandatory thing. There's not like you have to be there every week. It's none of that. We really, want people to know that there's an awesome space with amazing people. And we're doing some fun things. And before you know it, we're going to find some investment because we're actively talking with investors now. And we hope to change the game for everyone, for the better.
This is a very interesting model, and thank you so much. It's really great for artists out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see a
So,
downside. I'm searching
Yeah.
hard. I don't see a downside.
Well, I
Well,
work.
You're not making a lot of money.
No.
That's the
Well, not
downside.
today, not today. And the only reason why that is because not enough people know about us. And hence, that's why we're here tonight, so we can educate some more folks about what it is we're doing, what we stand for. So you're right. But the
Oh,
opportunity.
but hopefully it pays off in the long run. I mean, because people are happier.
You have a room full of people who are really with you guys.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Bob, thank you for this.
Well-
We all are hoping for your success.
Is
Well,
there anything you
oh.
could write down where to contact you or how to get the hours in the writing room?
Sure, Michelle, I put my email, and so has Nate in the chat. And
Okay.
Bob has them as well, so Bob
Yeah.
can always connect
All
you.
right.
And
Thank
I'm
you
going
so
and I'm
much.
going to edit and format the chat and send it to everybody on Monday.
Perfect.
So
Thank
you will have their contact information, I promise. And Eric Rothman, I'm not going to take your off topic question. I'm going to suggest that you shoot Nate an email and ask him, and he can talk about that because we're at 6:42 now, and we have to kind of wind up. Let me see if there's any other questions. Melanie is reminding everybody the writing room meets on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Now that's something that we really didn't talk about. People have got to reserve a Tuesday with you, and so it's going to be do you do only one every Tuesday, or do you do two sessions, like a 7 and a 9?
Because it does eat into people's time, and you're volunteering your time to be there for Zoom, we only try to do one per night. Also, we really just want to focus on that one writer and that one story, to give them the spotlight, so to speak. But yes, we right now it looks like July and August are booked, which
I
is
think
great.
we have our first opening in September.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was hoping to hear, because I didn't want anybody to say, "Can I email you and see you next Tuesday?" It's no.
Oh no, like we definitely have people like signing up, and we have returnees coming back from bringing different scripts in. So it if you have a script and you'd like to come and check us out, and also feel free to just come listen in or come be a reader if you'd like, just to experience the room before you bring your script in. That might help with your question before. If you just want to see what we do and get our vibe, then just come and listen in for a bit, or be a reader, and you can just see what we're all about. But yeah, I would definitely get on the books as quickly as you can.
Have you ever thought about doing? Why did you pick Tuesday night? Curious.
Why did we pick Tuesdays? I think
Mondays and
I think we
Tuesdays,
did
we're dark. Theater is normally dark on Mondays and usually Tuesdays. So I thought that Mondays and Tuesdays would be great. And I also have our launch days Tuesday. All the other streaming channels do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even Sunday nights, like with HBO. So I was like, I'm taking Tuesdays, and Tuesdays is going to belong to IFT Network.
Well, there are other groups that are meeting on Tuesday nights.
Yeah,
that I
probably
know
for similar
of.
reasons.
But here's the thing, though: if a writer is in a time crunch with their script, if they have deadlines or anything like that, I mean, we're happy to work with you and find a time that works for you. And I'll just email our people and try to get them there and get readers for you and get everything done for you. We don't want to limit you to just Tuesdays.
Well, I think that you guys are obviously very generous,
Right.
and very much in the true spirit. I actually want to I want to quote I want to quote Nico Juber. She confesses, "I love producing now. Thank you, True." So a lot of you are very hesitant to be a self producer, but with support and with the right information, you actually could probably do a very good job of producing your own work. Don't be afraid to do it, and don't be afraid to look into our producer program. Hint, hint. So,
Nudge, nudge.
yeah. Let's see. I keep getting more.
Bob, if I could, just 1 second to support what you're saying. No one can tell the story as good as you. So if you're curious about producing, I'm with Bob 100%. Definitely explore it. Dip your toe in the water, if you will, or just jump in head first. But definitely, there's tools out there to help you, and plenty of people to kind of help you along the way.
So I do want to wind up right now, and I want to thank you, Jay Cruz and Nate Raven and the unseen Melanie Magri for being with us and sharing all this information with us. I know that you're at the beginning of your journey with this, and I think that this is a great opportunity for a lot of people in this room, a lot of people that we know to come in and because I'm predicting that in a year it's not going to all be free. So now's a good time to actually. Now's a good time for everybody to get to know IFT Network and to come in with product and work with them. So thank you again, guys, for being with us. Thank you, viewers out there. Thank you for the community in the room. Grateful for all of you. So appreciate you being with us every week. So if you're the viewers out there, if you want to actually be part of the community and be part of the room, we would love to have you. Email me at trunltd@aol.com. That's trunltd@aol.com. Use the word Zoom in a way that will make me laugh in your header, okay? So send me an email and we'll put you on the list and we'll invite you every week to be with us. We also, here comes the pitch. We also do this for free. Just like they do theirs for free, we do ours for free, but we also give you the option of donating to us. So we're a 501c3, so anything that you donate to us is tax deductible. And as Joe Nelms points out in sextuplicate, we're at truedonate.com. It's trudonate.com. Viewers out there as well, if you want to come support us, just make a little donation to keep us going. Very grateful for it. I hope you'll join us next week. Next week we have Tony Israel and Shireen Anderson from Reelamin Productions. We're going to be talking about whether the diversity that we've seen in Broadway in the past season is going to stay, whether diversity is with us, and what else we need to do to make sure that Broadway is listening to voices other than the usual voices and open to the BIPOC voices. So come with us and let's have that conversation with Tony and Shireen next week. And that's it, everyone. Thank you for being with us and hope to see you again soon.